Hey guys, how you doing? My name is John and welcome to my NEStalgiaholic channel. In this episode, I'm going to walk through and do a step through the volume 28 of Nintendo Power. This issue came out in September of 1991. Big focus on this particular magazine was Super Nintendo. In fact, this is the very first magazine that I remember seeing and information I remember seeing, reading about Super Mario World, and I remember being blown away when I first heard about this game and the graphics, seeing, wow, the graphics are amazing for this system. So I have a lot of fond memories and nostalgia for this particular volume and issue. So without any further ado, let's take a closer look at volume 28 of Nintendo Power. This is going to go over Super Mario World. First time, as I mentioned, that I kind of learned a lot more information about Super Mario World. Also, first time I remember hearing about Yoshi and all that good stuff. I always wondered why Mario has a black mustache and brown sideburns. He must use just for men. I don't know, that's kind of interesting. But also you have Star Wars, Final Fantasy Adventure, and more. On the back, it shows the three classic systems during the time. Super Nintendo, Game Boy, and of course the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. Let's open this bad boy up and see what's inside. This is Unmask the Power Animal in You. This is basically a promotion to subscribe to Nintendo Power. To do that, 2-year subscription, 24 issues, is $30, not bad. A little over maybe like $1.20 an issue, roughly. Not a bad deal at all. Save a lot of money doing that, because this retailed for $350 US and $450 Canadian when this came out. Here are some table contents. You got a lot of features here: Super Mario World, Star Wars, Smash TV, Kickmaster, Worm, Castlevania 4, SimCity, Final Fight, a bunch of classic ones that are now classic. Of course, Game Boy's featured. Players Pulse. This is where players can actually write into Nintendo Power and provide feedback and stories, all that good stuff. These are always interesting to read these. Super Mario World. Here's a feature right here. And it talks about the history of the adventures of Super Mario. You got Mario 1, 2, 3, and Super Mario Land up to this point. And this is the 5th installment of the series. You got Yoshi, of course. Talks about Yoshi. Different Koopa creatures that were available in the game. These football guys are always fun, kind of interesting. This is the map of the land, the world of Super Mario World. This is one of my favorite Super Mario games. I'm curious, what is your favorite Super Mario game out there? Leave a comment and let me know. Be curious to read that. Different areas of each stage, very detailed, different enemies, boss battles, etc., so forth. Valley battles are still going on here. Special strategies, gives you tips and all that good stuff. Very helpful information that you'll need to know. This is sticky. I don't know why it's sticky. It's kind of embarrassing. No, I'm just joking. Here is Nestor's Excellent Adventures. And yeah, this is basically, mini comic within the Nintendo Power series they had initially. Here is Star Wars for Nintendo. This is by Lucasfilm Games and JVC. So it was Lucasfilm Games, not LucasArts as we know them today. This is also later ported to the Game Boy. Really difficult game. It's a platformer, and there's like a top-down part where you actually have to drive the land speeder. Kind of follow the story, kind of not. There's also a port to the Game Gear, as well as probably the Sega Master System as well, I imagine. The the Star Wars for the Famicom was completely different than the Nintendo port. I actually prefer the Star Wars from the Famicom. It's more of a side-scrolling game. Here's Smash TV. This is the Super Nintendo port based on the Williams Classic Arcade. This is one of Williams' last arcades they actually produced in the arcades. If you want to play Smash TV, a lot better port is obviously for the Super Nintendo, but this is still a good port. This is by Acclaim Entertainment. Acclaim at the time did a lot of arcade ports. They later on did NBA Jam and all those good arcade ports for the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, Sega CD, etc. Classified information. This is information, tips, and secrets for some particular games. Jackie Chan's, Thunderbirds, Kabuski, Cut of the Chase, special games. This is Adventures Lolo, and Adventure Island 2. Those Adventure Island series are always really difficult, always challenging. Kickmaster for the Nintendo. It shows you all the different levels, different moves, different kicks. This is by Taito, and gives you the graphic sound. This is scaled to 1 to 5, 5 being good, 1 being terrible, and these are averaging about in the 3s. Can't say I've ever played this game. Different stages. Here's Worm, Journey to the Center of the Earth. This is by Asmic. I think that's how you pronounce it. Graphics, gave it 4 out of 5. Pretty good graphics. Theme and Fun is 4. Challenge and Losing Infinity at 4.3. And Play Control is 3.3. Here is, they have a poster, and each Nintendo Power has a poster. This particular one is F-Zero poster. How cool is that? All hand-drawn. Looks like the artist signed it. Coming soon for the Super Nintendo. That's a really cool poster. Special feature, Game Boy feature. These are before they even had the artwork for the game, so you can just see the screenshots here. Marble Madness, Techno Bowl, Final Fantasy Adventure. Now, Final Fantasy Adventure is actually a different game. It's not really officially, it wasn't officially the Final Fantasy series, but I forget what game it was. So if you guys remember, let me know. But I think it was part of a different series altogether. But it's still a fun adventure game. It plays a lot different than the Super Nintendo or even the Nintendo counterpart. Goes to strategy, different maps. I like how they paste together these different maps and they put them together. It's really cool. Dark and Light talks about that. It still goes on. You got the Chocobos. Here's Tecmo Bowl, obviously a classic. I love playing this for the NES, now ported to the Game Boy. You could play 2 players on this, I believe, with the link. You can get the link for it. You can play 2 players on it. Game Boy Classified Battle Unit Zioth. F1 Race. I remember F1 Race came with the adapters. You can play, I think, up to 4 players with it. R-Type, of course, been ported to pretty much every platform you can imagine. This is NES Achievers. This is where people can submit their high scores to Nintendo, and they'll put your name in here. Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Castlevania 4. Look at that. Obviously, the classic. These are all sneak peeks. I remember being so excited for the Super Nintendo when it came out. SimCity, one of my favorites for the system. This is a really great one. It's a simulation one. And forget this doctor guy's name, but he's also in SimCity 64 for the Nintendo 64 disk drive, which is really weird and kind of an interesting fact. Only in the Nintendo ports, though. Final Fight, of course, for the Super Nintendo. Shows you the port, obviously, from Capcom Classic Arcade there. Tells it Cody and all that good stuff you can play as. Now playing emulator Boat Duel. Can't say that looks very fun. You got Bo Jackson Baseball. Ton of baseball games for the NES came out. They always have these monthly contests that they do, and you can see the American Gladiators live. This is the grand prize. Also win a game pack. 15 winners win that. You can also win t-shirts to submit. American Gladiators were huge back in the day. I actually bumped into Storm. She was out in Atlanta when I was there. Just happened to bump into her at LA Fitness. Kind of a random deal, but that was weird. I wonder if she's actually pictured here or not. I think that's Storm right there, actually. It's kind of funny. Okay, start traffics, and this is where people can write in, and these are common things that, the counselors, actually, the people who help you out, they put this in here to help them out, because there's a phone number you can call for help. I love these mullets they always have. This guy, Matt, sporting a really good mullet from the early 90s. More games, different tips. Top 30 games, September 1991, Volume 28. Mario 3 is the top of the list. Turtles 2, the arcade game. Rounding out in the bottom 3, Little Nemo. Battle of Olympus, DuckTales for 28. Some great ones for the Simpsons, Space Mutants. It's a challenging one. Tetris, of course. Double Dragon 3 makes number 16. Celebrity profile, Bart Simpson. So usually they have a celebrity profile where they interview him and talk about their favorite games. Obviously, Bart Simpson's not a real character, but they pretend he is, and they ask him what he likes to play. There's been a handful of Simpsons games. What is your favorite Simpsons game out there? I think I probably have to say The Simpsons Arcade, personally, for myself, by Konami. I'm curious what your guys' are. Tailspin, but this is a Capcom Disney game. Tom and Jerry, this is games to watch out for coming out. Addams Family. The Flintstones. Of course, we all know, a lot of us know that the other Flintstone games actually ended up being a really rare game. There's 2 Flintstone games. This is the first one. The second one turned out to be really rare. Terminator 2 and Might and Magic, of course. role-playing game, classic. Super Nintendo, what to look out for, Darius Twin, Super Rumors. These are games that are coming out. Home Alone, Ultraman, Super Adventure Island, Wanderers from Ys, Ultrabots, Miscellaneous. Super Battle Tank, that's War in the Gulf. They actually titled that. It's kind of a simulator. Nosferatu, some kind of game. That's weird. Coming next month, F-Zero, Star Trek, Metroid Review, and Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge for the Game Boy. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we will see you soon. Take care.